Welcome back to It's New. I'm Barry Schwartz. Retro Morty's here and Greg Finn. I wonder when Retro Morty's going to stop making up names and just stick with his original name. But I don't blame you for changing your name. It's
it probably goes over really good for the podcast.
Right. Anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about quick takes. That's a bad way of saying it, but whatever. Greg, you're off.
All right. And a new carousel spotted may have some advertisers spinning in circles.
Very good. And Morty?
Notes are gone and other things you don't actually care about. Google Notes are no more.
Hallelujah.
Unexpected. What will it take away next?
I don't know. It's yeah. So that's it. You're done. That's the news. It's true.
That's it. I mean, look, if they could take away notes, if they could take away anything, tomorrow you might wake up and there's no more ads.
Don't you dare say that. I'm right here in front of you, Morty.
Hi, Greg.
It's interesting. It took them so they launched it 8 months ago just as a Search Labs experiment. It was supposed to end in December. Google removed that and said it's going to end in soon after that. Then there was a lot of rumors that it would end in May. It did not end in May. Then a couple more months passed by, and then Google finally, for some reason, told 9 to 5 Google that it's ending at the end of this month, that you should use Google Takeout by the end of August to get rid of it. Google emailed me also afterwards. I'm like, okay. And they'll use this feedback to do things in the future. So I don't know. It's just weird.
My only question is, did notes end or did they never really begin?
That's deep.
I can't think of a worse product launch in Google history than Notes. I could never find them. I didn't know what the purpose was. They didn't show up for all the pages. You could not have a note for your URL, but you could for your Twitter X profile. That was the worst effort I think I've ever seen by Google, and that's saying a lot.
Wow, tell us what you really think.
Can you name something worse, a worse attempt than that? Maybe AI even overview. In life. No, AI overviews. At least there's 7% of those. I
mean, that's big for Google because Google does a lot of. Check out their graveyard. They have a lot of things that are in there. On that, Google may be renaming its short videos in the Google search results to quick takes. That's it. That's all I got.
What are we doing? What are we doing here? What is going on? Do you used to think there's got to be a crew that's debating this back and forth over there, and they're like, should it be short videos? No. Let's do quick videos, or maybe short takes, and then quick takes. There we go. Imagine the resources that are happening over there to change short videos to quick takes. Also, are they even takes? A take is a thing. A take is you have an opinion. What are we doing? Sorry, guys. I'm fired up.
The team that was previously working on notes needed something to do.
Yeah, let's go mess around over on renaming things.
It's funny. There was a comment yesterday on our YouTube channel asking if we could explain the news and then say what we should do with it. Nothing to do with notes, nothing to do with quick takes. I mean, you might get a different click-through rate now that if you have short videos, it might lead, what's quick takes? And somebody click on it, and then they'll be like, you failed me, and I'll never click on that again. Then Google's going to switch it back to short videos or give it some other name so that some people will click on it. But in these two stories, I mean, notes is going away, so export your stuff in quick takes. It's just Google messing, which basically what the quick take for us is Google's constantly testing, and we should be constantly testing and trying different things.
Can I say a real thing?
All right,
sorry. Okay. I look at all these little changes as you put them all together in aggregate, they compound on each other, and they kind of sometimes show you, or in general show you where Google's trying to go or might be trying to go. So don't look what do I do with this? Look at, it's all it's like Neil Young songs. They all sound the same because it's all one song.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think the answer to that comment, which is a great comment and somebody that enjoyed the show, is you should take some of these things and realize where to put your energy and where to not put your energy. And from the get-go, notes was a disaster of a flop. And I guarantee you there are some people out there spamming notes, trying to take competitors down, trying to goose up their own numbers on notes and things like that. And it's like, that is something that you need to use your brain and see what is beneficial and what isn't. And we've been telling you that for a long time.
Right. I gotta like
optimize for Google Notes, and if I find something, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I'm sure you'll find something. That being said, it's interesting. So take you back a little bit in history. This is not going to. This might go longer than 10 minutes. So basically, when Danny Sullivan didn't go over to the dark side at Google, Google came out with AMP, and I'm like, I can't believe Google's launching this. I had a whole argument with Danny. He's like, this is a big deal. I'm like, what do you mean it's a big deal? This is like, people can optimize their own websites. Why do they need Google to optimize it for them? They could improve page speed. They could do all this stuff themselves. Why do they need to give Google their content to do it? Well, Danny's like, well, it's going to be a big deal because Google's going to give you some ranking boost for it. I'm like, it's ridiculous. And there's a lot of publishers on one end and the other side, like publishers are like, this is the stupidest thing ever. And Google and everybody else, and some people are saying this is the best thing ever because I could go ahead and use this and improve my rankings. Ultimately, it died because it was a bad idea. But it was a good idea for the short term to do it and implement it because it did get you in top stories, carousels, and all these other things that you would not have been able to get in otherwise back then. And Google figured out several years later that this is really a bad idea, and they got rid of it. I don't know what my point was. But again, sometimes the short-term gain to implement stuff is well worth it and required, even though the idea might be bad from Google, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And like AI overviews is going to be staying. Like, I don't care how much you hate it. It's going to be around. You should work on creating amazing content that Google wants to steal. Like, that's what you should be doing. The notes part, like, I never got that one.
It never made it out of labs. On that, let's talk about some ad stuff. I know you're fired up about that, Greg.
I am, actually. I don't know how I'm so fired up today. And then one quick note just on the story we talked about yesterday from that name change in Japan. Ginny Marvin, the Google Ads liaison, said that it was only a local translation change specific to Japanese only, was the exact quote. And that would make a little bit of sense because the Japanese translation of the initial name of that match type was partial match, and broad match doesn't include partial match. I'm still hoping they come out and rename it all. And Finstradamus in me says that they will be renamed by 2025. Okay, and in some other news over on Search Engine Roundtable, Barry, you covered Google Ads query refinements under an ads carousel. This was a wild one to me. There was a person, Sad AK, that had done a search for just the generic term of hotels and saw ads, saw organic, and then there was a carousel with sponsored listings with the name of that query being a branded query for Expedia. So the query was Expedia hotels that was right there on the SERP for hotels. And then there was no Expedia, like even in the hotels, let alone that's a terrible user experience. But that would also be something that you would imagine that these people would be doing potentially with like in a conquesting campaign, right? Like if you're trying to not show up for a different brand, you might negate those brands because they're not you. You might use them as an exclusion and say, I don't want to show up for competitors. But I do not understand this one. And again, if it wasn't branded, I could get it a little bit, but this doesn't make sense to me. And if you're in the ad space, I would implore you to go look at this video. I hope it's just a one-off bad thing that they'll get rid of, but to have a branded search and have branded ads branded for Expedia showing within just hotels is a wild one to me.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I almost did not cover this because I really thought this was some type of bug or like it wasn't a fake because Sad AK shares all this great stuff all the time. It looked to me to be some weird bug. And I'm like, do I cover it because like what the heck is Expedia hotels not showing Expedia hotels in it in this carousel? And do I cover this because of the query stuff below it, which mentions Expedia hotels, cheap hotels near me and choice hotels. I'm like, what? It didn't make any sense to me. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to share this just to see what happens.
It's got to be a bug.
I would imagine it's a mistake. But it's also could be a costly mistake, right? Like you're now showing up for Expedia hotels when that was not the intent that the searcher put through, and now you're on the hook for the dollars associated with that click.
For sure. All right, cool. Well, thank you, everybody. I think we're back tomorrow, and I'll speak to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.